as in white people.
What about with you? Do you find not negative? I think everyone's pride. Oh dear.
And 10 minutes, man.
If that, it's more like being 30 seconds. It's like, please come on, please come on, nothing. Look.
Yeah.
You know, you're like,
I'm all flipped out. I'm ready to go. You're hitting bits, baby.
So, how are you finding the relationship?
it's a good change. There's difference in people. I mean, like, we're used to dating only like white people or whatever else. You get the same kind of like thoughts on things.
Very nice, actually.
Okay.
It's a lot more relaxing. I think being with James, I've been just exposed to new things, not like riding a bike. I've become a biker chick. Yeah.
You're a lot more open about things as well.
Yeah. I find it easier to talk with James than I would do, say, for example, with my ex who was black. It's just like it doesn't go through sort of everyone's sort of the same mind frame, but coming out of the box, it's more exciting.
What defines an interracial relationship?
Individuals. I don't think it's anything to do with the fact that I'm black and James is white. Even though we've never been out with each other's race before, it's more interesting for me.
Yeah, it's definitely to do with the people. I mean, I know a lot of black people and whatever else, but I've never been out with a black girl. And it's a lot to do with the individual, obviously. But when you're around different cultures, you start to learn a bit more, and you're a lot more curious or interested, to find out a little bit extra. It always makes a good change.
Could you choose between your family and a relationship?
My family's quite open, to be honest. I mean, they've got no issues whatsoever. But from their point of view, as long as I'm happy, they are.
The first person I introduced James to was my sister, because the thing is, because she's the eldest sister, if my sister gives an approval, not just because of the race, but the individual, then it makes it easier before I go to my mum and just sit down with her and really explain what's happening in my life with me and James. My sister's already sort of given her a better idea, and it's just sort of, she has the approval, mum has the approval, then when I go, mum gives the approval. That's normally how it works anyway. I do listen to what family have to say, but I'm not unrealistic. I do look outside the box as well. Obviously, everyone always says love is blind, and you always, now I've realised that you've always got to look out the box more often than you think.
Yeah, it's if my family disapproved or whatever else, you would take on board what they thought, but the final decision would be down to the individual. It'd have to come from what you would be after, not exactly what your family would want. You take, like I say, take into consideration what they'd like, but never act on what they say.
Is an interracial relationship based on colour?
No, not at all.
Not at all, no. We both have different opinions on things, but I think it's easier for me to compromise with James than it would be for anyone else.
So what is the UK's views on interracial relationships?
Everyone's different, but I think a lot of people are very closed-minded, and that's the bad thing about it. No one's not sort of gone out there and said, okay, how do you feel about interracial? And ask people how they feel. And I think if you have a friend who's a bit racist and stuff like that, no matter what, if you're around that person constantly, that's going to rub off on you, and then you rub off on someone else, and that's the way it happens. That's the way it's all started. So
they find it more acceptable in like normal society for a black man to go out with a white woman than it is for a white man to go out with a black woman. A lot of people I know are really shocked that I'm going out with a black girl. But if it were the other way around, they wouldn't flicker an eye. It'd just be a common thing. It's widely seen. You see it quite often, and put it this way, a lot more often you see a white guy with a black woman. I mean, it's a social thing. I don't know how people look upon it, but between black men seeing me with a black girl, we get a lot of looks, and it's strange being in a public place, say going down Brixton or anywhere like that. People do turn around and they will stare. It does happen.
What was your first sexual encounter like?
it was really good. I did have preconceived ideas about English guys and the fact that I'd been out with black guys all my life, saying that they needed a manual, they the rhythm. There was no rhythm. There was no rhythm because they can't dance. They have no rhythm. But then that's not actually the case, and you'll only know that if you decide to be open-minded, step out your own box, and then go into that.
And James, how do you feel about that?
Very exciting. I mean, you have all these built-up expectations and whatever else, you know, and you know what it'd be like with a usual sexual partner or whatever else, and you have usual ideas. But I mean, it's usually the build-up. I think it's a great build-up to start with, and yeah, it was fantastic to be honest. I mean, it is the tease as well as, you know, it's the build-up to it.
Do you think there is a difference between sleeping with a white guy and sleeping with a black guy?
I think there's only a difference because of James is very emotional, and I've become a bit more emotional being with James. That means our sex is very emotional, which is always it's very deep. It's like when you have a conversation with someone and you go really deep. It could be just a normal conversation, but then you start talking politics, and it's like, wow, we're going really deep here, and that's how it is with James. There's
a big change, and it's not just during sex and things like that, but it's the understanding between each other. And cause sometimes you want to be close, you know, you want to be able to get that kind of
love,
feeling together where you are together, you know what I mean? It's not just like a casual kind of like thing, you know, you can go out and have sex with anybody, but it doesn't mean it's going to be great. It's what you build upon.
There are preconceptions about, you know, a white man's penis is smaller than a black guy's penis. Do you think there's any comparisons at all?
I think there are preconceptions, but from my experience, James is better. James got me going.